Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Chris Winters, and we'll get started here in just a second. Just give me a quick sound check. If you can see my screen and hear me okay, just put a 1 in the chat box, and we will get started as soon as I see a couple of those ones come in. And we're already recording 1. Yes, it's being recorded as I speak. Alrighty, good. Lots of ones, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Let's go ahead and increase this. And one more second. Zoom out. Nope, wrong way. Okay, welcome, Paper Call Coaching members. This is Coaching Call for August 7th, 2014. On here today, we're going to be answering some questions that were sent in to the Webby questions at Qzx900.com. And remember, that's not a support desk. If you want support, I have full-time support, and you're going to get that at support.qzx900.com. So we're going to be going over today, we're going to be going over the new Qzx theme, the new master way that I got to come up with a cool name for it, but for right now it's just using the one master domain and ranking that one domain in a lot of cities. So I'm going to go over how we came about that. It wasn't by accident. It was very methodical. How it's working for us, how we're doing it, and the new Qzx theme is actually has been for quite some time. Is perfectly geared and engineered specifically for using for multiple cities. So is the entire new Qzx system as well. So that's where we're going to start. If we have some time, then I'll answer some backlinking questions and stuff like that. That usually the most popular. Obviously, any questions that you may have inside the question box as we move along here. So what I do want to do right away, though, is I want to come in and answer one question that came in, and because kind of where we're moving forward from here on out is going to be this question is going to influence. I want to make sure that everybody understands it there. Let's see here. So this is the question that came in, and I just want to address this right away. And if you have more questions about it, you can in your live on the call, you can certainly ask me now. But let me also direct you, if you're watching this on a recording and you still have questions about it, you can obviously contact my support. But someone wrote in and said, I'm still uncertain how the new platform, which is what's called the K2, new platform affects the older or current platform, specifically as it pertains to costs for those members that purchased the older platform. As I was a one-time, lifetime, please advise. Okay, so I'm going to answer that here in just a second. I'll answer all three of these kind of together. What's the advantage of staying with the current platform? Or advantages, disadvantages of both. Okay, so if you go into, when you log in to your Paper Call Ninja membership site here, and should have done that. Yep, here we go. This is just the home page for the Paper Call Ninja site. I made a quick little 5-minute video, okay, just kind of going over some of the features, okay. And then I also too did a webinar this week, just a few days ago, on 8.3 and the intro of the new Qzx. So this is kind of a longer version of going through it. And then here's some quick, most common questions and answers that we get here. If you haven't signed up for it, it's right here. And the biggest question people get, well, you know, how does this save me money on here? It actually saves you a tremendous amount. And what happens is that people look at this monthly cost here and they go, oh, wait a minute, this was a one-time. How is this benefiting? This looks like it costs more. First of all, you don't have to switch, but we are offering a 1 month free So you can try it out. It has a lot of great features to it. I'm not going to go over all of them right now unless there's a great demand for it in the question box here. But basically how it works on here, I'll just cut right into it on this example here. I won't go through all the math on it. But the average K1 original Qzx member has an average 20 phone numbers. Okay, so that's the average. So let's just take a look at how that works. And the average person who has 20 numbers uses on average 30 minutes per month per phone number. And in the original Qzx system, it's $3 per month per phone number, right? And 10 cents a minute. So and these are averages, so everyone's going to fluctuate slightly one way or the other, but the savings is enormous. So with those averages in there with just 20 numbers, it's going to cost you around $120 a month. Okay, that's under the current Qzx member system. Okay, but under the new one right here, okay, it would cost you $45.99 per month for the exact same amount of phone numbers, but with a lot more features on it as well. And although we didn't mean to be some of the competition out there like ACT, I know a lot of you have looked at ACT on this end of it. ACT does start out, I think it's $99 up front, $1 trial, something like that. And no disrespect to them whatsoever. They have a nice system. They run a good business. We didn't mean it to be, but the way that they set theirs up is that if you want to have some of the features that already come with ours, you have to pay extra per month, a lot more extra than what we're doing here. So we didn't design this as trying to be the price leader or anything like that. That's not the business model that I'm in. We just looked at the cost to operate and run this thing, and these are the numbers that made the most sense for us. But we do end up being the lowest cost out there. But the numbers make sense on that. Can you keep your existing K1 system? Yeah, you can. We're not going to force anybody to switch over. We just made some, there's always little bugs and stuff that come up in any kind of system that you have. Our programmers, are still working on it, and it's still active, and we're going to continue with it. So you're not forced to switch over. But I think if you have a few numbers, it's a savings. And besides the savings, if you don't switch over, you're also miss out on a lost opportunities, which can have a huge but sometimes overlooked cost, which is the opportunity lost on that end of it, because it has a lot of really cool features to it, and it's going to have a couple of more added as we speak. But anyways, can you port your existing numbers from the K1 system, we'll call it the original Qzx system K1, to K2? No, you cannot. And if we could do it, we could. The second most popular question I get that's not on here, but we are going to be able to do, is that if you already have an existing Twilio account, can you port your numbers from your existing Twilio account over to the K2? And at this very moment on this call, and if you're watching this in the future on a replay, you may want to check with our support desk. But currently, right now, on the 7th of August, we cannot. But I've requested that my programmers find a solution because it's running off of the same system as far as where the numbers are coming from, so it should not be an issue. And we're actually getting quite a bit of requests for that, so keep your eye on that. Also, another thing too, if you want to switch numbers from the K1 to the K2 and you've got existing sites up, just know that by just basically all you're really changing is not the area code, but just the phone number itself, just the 7 digits afterwards. And on a website, obviously, that's very easy to do, right? That's not going to affect negatively your rankings, okay? Everything else on your site stays the same. You've worked really hard to get it on page 1. But changing a phone number is not going to suddenly you're going to wake up the next day and your site is on page 10. It's just not enough of a significant difference. Okay. Let's see what else. Countries, we offer any kind of countries that Twilio currently offers. We started out within our system with the top English-speaking countries. If you say, hey, wait a minute, Twilio has France, I want to do this, I want to get France numbers, just send in a support ticket, and our guys will have it within the system within a couple of days. We just didn't see a point to put in. They have 203 countries with Twilio, and we just didn't see the reason to put in 203 right off the bat. So we thought we'd let the market dictate what are the most popular cities, and we'll put those in. We figured that we selected the first ones right now. Again, if you've got a particular country and you know that it's in Twilio and you don't see it in K2, just put in our support test request. It doesn't take very long at all to add those. Very, very, very quick on that. Okay, so that's about it. If you've got questions with that, if you got further questions, feel free to ask me during the call today. If you're watching this in the future, then contact my support and or look these over. And you can also, I did a whole webinar on it, and you can watch the replay here. Okay, so with that, let me just go into the chat box right now, and I'll just take a look at here. The new theme that I'm going to be going over today, yes, it's in your membership area. It's going to be on the left-hand side. Let's see, where is it? Right here. New, right here, module 4B, new Qzx WordPress theme. If you've there was at some point on here, I forget what version it was, but at some point there, it didn't happen right in the very beginning, but there are a few people who have like the first one or two Qzx themes that we had, and then after that, if there's any updates when you log in to your site, and you like your plugins and stuff, you get that little red, number 1, 2, or 3 on the left-hand side of your admin panel, which means you've got some updates, either a plugin or a theme. It will alert you when there are updates. So if you've got a fairly recent one, I think it's, let me just say if you installed the Qzx theme 6 months ago, just to be safe, 4 months ago, moving forward, you should, when you log in to the back of your system, and if there's a update in the new Qzx system, it won't automatically happen, but you'll be alerted. It's like just like an alert with a, it's like, hey, there's a new version of WordPress, there's a new version of a plugin, and it gives you that little alert. All WordPress themes come with that, and then you just go, yes, I want to update it, and it downloads it. Okay. If you're not sure, you could always go here and uninstall and reinstall it, and if you're completely new with website, with WordPress and everything I just said, just sent shivers down your spine, just contact my support. That's what they're there for. Okay. We'll be glad to hold your hand, walk you through it. Please do training first and questions second. Charles requests on here. Okay, is this the same webinar as a few days ago? Nope, it's not the same webinar, completely brand new. Will the Twilio phone numbers work for Craigslist or Google Voice verification for call forwarding? Twilio numbers, Kevin, Twilio numbers do not work, and that's what our numbers are based off of. So our new backbone is Twilio. Twilio numbers do not work for Craigslist. There are, if you do a search on do a search for Craigslist verification phone numbers, do Google search for that, and you'll find that stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some of these real quickly, and then we'll move on here. Is there a one-time or lifetime fee? No, sorry, there is not. It's a good question, though. If you have a YouTube video, title with the existing phone number? Oh, that's a good question. So yeah, Jim, if you have a YouTube video and you go in and you want to change the phone number, like on the title of it there, I haven't done that, but I'm going to make a strong prediction that yes, it is going. You're going to see a change in your rankings, but it'll be like a Google dance. It will go back to its original or very close to it, and you're not going to see the changes right away. So let's say that on your YouTube channel, you went and you made the phone number changes, right? And you refresh the screen and all that kind of stuff, and then you go search out in the SERPs for your site. You won't see the changes in your site. You'll see it on your YouTube channel, but you won't see it in the SERPs yet. And when you do see it in the SERPs, you're probably going to see some movement, and you might have to send some backlinks to bring it back up. So, but if it's a it's not one thing that I can say with confidence, though, even though I have not done this directly, though, is that it's not. It should not be a large enough change that it throws it off, and so that you find yourself, your video is suddenly on page 12 and never returns back. It's just not a large enough change for anything like that. Okay, it's just a slight title change, and it's in numbers. It's not going to affect the end users. Enjoyment or what they're searching for. Okay. But if you do have, what I would suggest is that if you've got, if you're in a situation like that, you have to make your decision yourself. Do you want to switch that or not? If it's, generating income for you right now, then I would, I'd probably just leave it alone. It's just, it's just one number or a handful of numbers. And you can keep both the K1 and the K2s. That's one thing you may want to do is if you got videos and you don't want to change those, keep the existing K1 system. Try out the K2 on the month and play around with it. I know there's huge benefits to switching over. Okay, aside from just the cost, there's a lot of added features on there that are upcoming training that you will not be able to do unless you switch over into it. Some of the things in there that we found out, one of the biggest features on there that I like the most is, well, there's a lot, but one of them that's huge is that we've switched from, in my business model, we've switched from a post-pay to a prepay, and the new K2 system allows you to do either or. Okay, you can do the, hey, here comes your invoice at the end of the week. It'll have everything all tallied up for you, and then it's, the invoice will get sent out and please pay it, or pay me right now $1,000 up front. Every week will automatically send you out an invoice. It will deduct the differences there and show your balance. So maybe after week one, you topped up to $1,000, and after week one, you used let's say $100 in credits, and the invoice went out, so you got to see how that is, and your balance is now $900. And then you can adjust it so that when it goes down, and you get to set the threshold, so you can say, hey, when your account gets down to, let's say, $200, you need to top it back up to a minimum certain amount. You can set all those arrangements there, and this way it's just you don't have to you don't have to do any chasing with customers or anything like that, and it sets a whole different tone and precedent. So we just weren't able to do that with the existing Qzx system. The other reason that we use that system too, and you'll start seeing this in the training in the future, is that we've also past 8 months we've been doing a tremendous amount of pay per or AdWords, and with the AdWords and with clients, we said there's no way we're going to wait till later. You're going to have to pay up front for that. And so that's really what that was designed for. And then we're adding a third system to it, which is going to be very quick and easy. But some people just decide, and we've done it in our business too, there's just some niches that, it gets a few calls in here and there, it's almost easier for us just to straight up go, hey, I'll just rent this site out to you for $75 a month, period, and you'll still automatically get sent a email and call numbers sent in, and you can still log in and listen to the phone calls and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. It's just a flat time fee. So we have all of those features in there, so it just gives you a lot more flexibility. Okay. Eric saying, any actual training coming up? So we got Michael and Eric here. Yes, there is. Hang on one second. I used the old Qzx theme to build a one domain multi-niche. How does the new theme differ? I'm going to go over that. Okay. So Brian asking, you lost me. How does the Qzx prepay relate to me offering AdWords services? I'll get into that later, but just really quickly on that, we're doing a lot of AdWords now, and so we have clients prepay up front on that because we're going to be paying for ads. So we're going to be investing that money up front. So we want them to invest the money up front. Okay. So that if they decide after a week, oh, that's pretty cool, but I'm not interested and I'm not going to pay, take off. Nope. We've already got the money. We've already taken their funds that they've given us. Plus we've margined in the profits in there too. So we have enough for the AdWords and enough for the profits to come in. Anyways, that's a whole nother training on that end of it. Okay, let me just go through and just really quickly answer on this on here for just the. I just want to make sure that because we haven't even offered the new K2 to all existing members, just a very small portion because we wanted to get prepared for any kind of questions that we didn't know, and we're getting a lot of questions. So that's why I'm spending a little bit of time with this right now. If I cancel K1 number, can I still access the data and the recordings for those numbers? Kevin, no, you cannot. Unless if you absolutely have to keep that data from the K1s on that, specifically request that before you switch over. Okay, specifically ask for that before you switch over. 100%. There is a way we can do it, but it'll be on a case-by-case basis. But if you've already canceled and you've already made the switch over, then I'm sorry, then it's too late. I'll go over the... Okay, why is prepaid better when the other method was working, right? This is what Paul asks on here. Yeah, the other method's working, but obviously I'm going to take a stab that you probably didn't have more than, let's say, 10 customers on a prepay model. And customers are customers, and what's going to happen is that you've done your whole works week, and even though with the old system, the new system now tracks customers down even better. It continuously texts them out with a online invoice. So within that text, they can just click on it. It takes them right to the invoice, and they can pay right there on their mobile device. And it also emails them. Eventually, it's going to happen. Someone's just going to go, oh yeah, I'll take care of it next week. 2 weeks pass by. Oh, and you're like, well, what the heck? And now you've lost maybe 2 weeks, and you just got to switch over to somebody else. So when you ask them to prepay up front, okay, and the way it's set up in the new K2 system, is that it's just like a top up with the phone. You just have them prepay up. It gets down to a certain to a certain level of threshold. You get to set what that dollar amount is. starts emailing them out right away, letting them know, hey, you're going to lose your phone numbers, you're going to lose all your leads, you need to top your account back up. Click here to top it up. They go top it up. It's all automated. Works out great. And this is the way you get paid in advance for future services rather than getting paid afterwards. It just makes counting and everything a lot more on here. Okay, if we want to make a niche website for, say, Australia, is that local enough? Would have to make a separate page for Australia's different subdivisions or equivalent or states. I'll go over those. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and switch on over here. And I'll put all this stuff in the membership site along with some more official training with that. But I just want to go over this. This is just a sample dummy site on here, and the example that I'm using here is this is a master domain for a pest control site. Okay, and this would be for a pest control niche site for many cities. So the way that it's set up now is that it's set up for a number of really cool things. First of all, it has, if you were to look at this on a mobile or an Android device, it'll have a tap to call, okay, because that's what people expect on a mobile call. They can also just click on here, and they can also call the number as well from their phone, depending on if they want to do those kind of devices on here. If they've got a Skype or something else, it'll just tell them to choose one of those, or they can pick up their phone and call. It's up to them. But on a mobile device, it'll come up a green bar across the bottom of the mobile on here. What we found, and this is something people asked, like 2 years ago, people asked, hey, Chris, have you guys ever tried, using just one domain and then ranking it for many different cities? And I was always honest about it. I said, no, we haven't. I say I see other businesses out there doing it. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I said we got a system right now that's working, and that was keyword-rich domains, one per city, one per niche. Still have those sites up. We're certainly not going to take them down. They generate revenue for us. They're good, but we really came in and we started studying these, and we studied a lot of case studies, but we actually documented 3 different niches of real life case studies, and we analyzed them. We looked at their backlinks, looked at their structure, and their ranking in multiple cities, and we took the best of those 3, implemented it into our business, and it works very well. What you're going to find is this is the benefit. There's a couple of benefits. The first one is that you're just managing one domain rather than multiple domains, right? So if you're going to be in 20 cities, instead of managing 20 domains, you're only managing one. That's the first advantage. The second advantage is that there's what we found is that there's a tipping point, and at some point, what happens is that usually it depends on the niche, how competitive it is, the quality of your on page, the quality of your on and off page SEO. But the tipping point we've usually found is usually around 4 to 5 cities. So you start to rank somewhere around 4 to 5 cities, page 1 with this master domain. Once you get to the 6th city and the 7th city, it all of a sudden becomes really easy to rank in those other cities. Okay, and that was something that we weren't expecting. We really came into it because of the ease of just managing one domain rather than a whole lot, and that's what's going to happen. And we've seen that time and time again. So it's kind of, if you're used to doing it one site at a time, it might seem a little clunky in the beginning, like a big ship, and it doesn't really turn corners real sharp. But after a while, it really starts to take off like a race car. So when you're choosing your name, okay, your root domain, you don't have to have your keyword in there at all. But if you're going to have your keyword in there, get kind of creative with it. Don't do what I did here, which was, like AAA, chiropractor pros or something like that. we don't need a bunch of people out there in the community to start doing, AAA your keywordpros.com. I don't think that's going to trigger anything, but I learned my lessons when I shared everybody with the mobile mechanic sites, and then literally everybody, their dog, their aunt, their third cousins, their distant relatives from overseas got into that niche, and it totally destroyed it. And I just don't want to see the same thing happen here. So just get creative. You don't have to have your keyword in your domain. That's not even relevant anymore. But anyways, you want to come up with some kind of root domain that is, I would go for a .com, and I would go for something that just kind of seems like you would. What would you name a company? What would you name some kind of company on here for that? And that's what I would put in there. When we set up these sites, how do we go about doing these? If you don't already have access to these PDs, you will. Whoop, let me get rid of that. It's not the PDF that I wanted. We're not talking about storing gold overseas. Not on this call anyways. Okay. So let me push this one over here. Okay, so what we did, we actually studied a lot of sites, but these are 3 that we actually documented, and I had my team put together this document. Actually, it was just an internal document just for me. This was made, I don't know, months and months and months and months ago. So some of these, it's kind of funny because some of them, like this bail bondsman, since then, still ranking #1 in a lot of cities, but their site has been hacked. And now if you go to some of their cities on here, it's like they sell Viagra and stuff, and they're even ranking. So anyways, so if you notice that, they were at one time a great one, and even a test, they still are, because even though they've been hacked and they got, all the bad kind of links and stuff to it, by online medications and stuff like this, they are still ranking. So anyways, Roto-Rooter was a great one on here, and it's a perfect example of a root domain that doesn't have the word plumbing in it or something like that. This is Clark Pest. This is a pest control site that's kind of located in the Southern California area on that end of it. And these are, I'll give you access to this report on here. There's a lot of things that we did on here, but let me just give you the summary of it, because this is the gist of it here. Okay. First of all, #1 on here, I would just stay away from key stuffing your URLs with your keywords altogether. If you have this incredible urge to just want to put your keyword in your URL, stop, don't do it. An example of that on here is, let's see, you got Plumber Brothers USA. I don't know if that's a real site or not. It's just an example that I gave here. And then you're gonna throw up a city and a lead gen site in San Diego. Just put /San Diego. Just leave it alone on here. There's going to be some keyword stuffing junkies out there, and they can't help themselves. They're going to have to put San Diego plumbers. Don't do it. Just leave it alone. Just put the city name. Okay, really important. Again, you're going to open up another lead gen site. Do it in Houston. Just put Houston. Don't put Houston plumbers or pest control or whatever. I know for some of you keyword stuffers on here, that's going to be difficult to do, but don't do it. Okay, you're going to be much better off with it. We are convinced, after studying in great detail many other real life companies out there that are generating gross revenues, millions and millions and millions of dollars per year through their organic rankings in multiple cities using one domain, that Google clearly knows, and we subscribe to a couple of backlinking analysis softwares more of the commercial type. We'd spend a little over $1,000 a month on those kind of tools, and so we use those same tools to analyze the backlinks coming to these sites. So we were looking at the backlinks and anchor text and all that kind of stuff, and it really became clear once we started looking at these that Google can tell from your site what it's all about, where it belongs, what it's about, what keywords it should rank for, simply by the meta title, the meta description, your meta tags, and the content that you have on that page. That's all it needs. Okay, this is not theory. This is what we're doing. This is not some loophole. This is after studying a lot of local sites specifically, right? Because that's what we're talking about here. And this is what we found again. We had using the best backlinking software out there that analyzes the quality of the backlinks, the anchor text, the sources of it, the trust level of it, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, and using two different ones. There's really three that are probably the top, but two out of the top three tools available today to do that. And we were hard pressed, okay, to find on any of these case studies that we did to find any anchor text that was keyword rich. It is very, very rare to find, okay, both on page and off page. So the message to you is that when you're taking backlinks and you're going to be distributing backlinks, anchor text both on page and off page, the majority of your backlinks should be stuff like check out this site, click here, okay, your URL, your company name, but don't use your company name if it's keyword stuff, okay? If it's like a Clark Pest, not Clark Pest Control San Diego or something like that, Clark Pests or Big Bob's Bug Squisher Company or something like that, that's fine. Use that as the anchor text. If you've got to feel like you've got to use an anchor text of a keyword, just use it one time and don't use it in the beginning when the site is new. Use it later on. Again, Google just by your title, your title, your meta tags, the pages, the words that you have on your page, Google knows right there. Okay, we know what this site's about. We know where it should rank, and we know the type of quality that it is. You don't need to be telling us by a whole bunch of anchor texts coming from all over the internet about what this site should be ranking for. Okay, it's just, it doesn't happen, and people come. We'll have we're not offering the service, so don't send in our support desk and do this. But every once in a while, people will come in and they'll go. They'll send, they're like, I've had this site for 8 months and I've sent these quality backlinks to it and it hasn't moved anywhere in the rankings. It's still on page 8, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll run it through like SEO Magesta or Ahrefs is another tool that we have. And we'll just quickly run it through. And we'll just see right there all the backlinks. They're all spammy backlinks. It'll be like Pest Control San Diego, Exterminators San Diego, Pest Control San Diego CA, Pest Control San Diego California spelled out. It'll be all these variations of it, and it's just so clear when you look at the tool that's like, yeah, Google could easily tell that because that's so unnatural looking. And then you look at these other sites like Roto-Rooter, and it's really hard to find a keyword-rich anchor text anywhere. Okay, so it's really important on that end of it. So don't get crazy with that. Okay, so as far as your titles go and stuff like that, the way that the pattern works. And I'll get all this stuff in the training area, is your meta tag, your title, right? Your title, your description, your meta keywords. On your meta title on here, you want to work within the bounds that the search engines allow you. So 50 to 60 characters maximum on here, and the patterns that we saw over and over again was just like this. It was a keyword and the company name. We saw that again and again and again. So you know what? It wasn't just the 3 case studies that you'll have access to on the Excel sheet if you don't already, or the PDF. We saw it in countless others that we did. So there's it. That works. Houston Plumber, company name. It's really important that at that point your company name is not, keyword rich, because then it gets real stuffy. All right. Make sense? Here, let me actually go ahead and I'll just do San Diego Plumber. And Roto-Rooter should show up on page 1 here. Of course, I can spell it anymore there. Let me go back to those results so it doesn't do my on here. Look, so here it is. Here's Roto-Rooter, and this is it. The one I gave there was Houston. This is it. See, this is their title tag: San Diego, California Plumber, company name, Roto-Rooter. Works great. Okay, you don't have to do it that way, but that's the way we're seeing it work. So, for the most part, and it's a good, straightforward, easy pattern to follow, and they're not getting penalized for it. And by the way, for the California, if you analyze this one, see the root domain. It's just San Diego. It's not San Diego Plumber. Okay. They have hardly any backlinks coming to this site, and this is very competitive, by the way. And that's because it's an established domain that has a lot of pages to it, and they're ranking in a lot of cities. Alrighty, so let's go back and take a look at this again here. So we got their meta tags, and your meta description on here. Okay, 150, 160 characters max. That's what Google will show in there, and you can include 1 to 3 keywords on there that you want to rank for on that. And in the PDF we have examples there, but I can just show you right here on a live one on that end of it. So what the keywords that they're using right here, and this is the description if you don't already know, is they're doing plumber, San Diego, plumbing, they're doing drain cleaning, and 24 hour, this is going to be for emergency services. So they will be ranking on page 1 for any of those keyword terms. If you go and take a look at their site, you'll see on here. Okay, but there we go. Okay, so same thing. Address, local city number. Every page is like this. So if you just take their page right here, you just go ahead and copy. It's exactly what we did. Copy this, and I'll get out a Word document above a blank one. I'm just going to just paste their page right in here, okay? Just their wording on that end, okay? And I'm just going to do a search and see what their keyword density is on here. So we just take I'll just do plumber, okay? So you can see right away that they got plumber in here. 1, 2. See, this is going to be the H1 tag. Plumber, plumbers, plumber. Okay. And how many keywords do they have on here? If I just highlight this whole thing, and then tools, and then we go ahead and we take a look at the word count. You're going to see word count on here, 380. We recommend going higher than that, but you don't have to, and it's working just fine. So they're ranking for a plumber, and obviously I typed in plumber San Diego, so plumber San Diego is obviously the other one. You can just see, because if you type in San Diego, you can see it highlights it up. Okay, and then if we do emergency plumbing, I'll just do emergency right here. Okay, and 24-hour too. That and emergency plumbing, and then drain clean. So these are the three main keys: are drain, yep, cleaning. And if we just, if I go back to search engines, and I go San Diego drain, whoops, San Diego drain cleaning. Sorry. Here. And boom. Rotor should show up. And they do. They're down here. Okay. And you can see that where it's darkened here. Drain cleaning right here. Same thing for emergency or 24-hour. That's their deal. Okay. Alrighty, let's move on. Very basics with the meta tags on here. Everyone said, if you've been around SEO for any length of time, you say, well, Google probably doesn't read those or look at those. I disagree. I think they must. It's there. It's so easy just to take a look, a peek at it, how much weight they carry on it. I have no idea. Neither does anyone else except for Google themselves. But this is what we're doing is we fill out all three. This would be like an SEO all-in-one pack plugin or something similar to that, just that allows the search engines to read this and choose to use this information rather than decide what it wants to choose off of your site. Okay, so for the meta keys, we just don't keyword stuff the heck out of it. We just go for our basic keywords, get it in there, and we're done. We're not going crazy like shoving 20 keywords in there. Again, that's not what we're trying to do. Google's smart enough to look at this page, look at this site, and go, oh, this is a plumbing site in San Diego. You don't need to be anchor texting me and meta tagging me and clubbing me over the head with all the keywords. I can figure it out, and they do. Okay, it's kind of common sense stuff when you really get down and think about it, right? Not too crazy on here. Word count on here. Some of the pages we looked at on here, like where Houston was actually 780 word count. We're recommending around 500, give or take 100. They were certainly case studies that we looked at that had as few as 200, 250 words. And the one we just looked at, right, for San Diego was what, 384, if I recall correctly. On that, we go for the H1 tags. This is H2, H3 tags optional. Do it or don't. Just make sure you got the keywords in there that you're trying to rank for at about a 1% or less on here. Certainly less than 1%. And Google will figure it out. They're smart enough to know. Okay. Images on the case studies. Now, on the case studies here, this was an interesting thing, is that all the sites that we saw, there were none, but they were successful. We still recommend doing the 1 to 3 images. Okay, and when you're doing the alt tags for the images on there, don't get crazy with the keyword stuffing on that. Just try to describe the picture like the alt tag was meant to do. And it could be like the alt tag would be Roto-Rooter serviceman servicing a home, something like that, servicing a customer. Roto-Rooter serviceman exchanging a hot water heater. Okay, it just describe what the image is, and if you happen to get some keywords in there, do it, but don't force it. Okay. The key there is that the reason we're adding the images in there is so that we have, if we're competing against another site, we're hoping to get some more brownie points in there because we got some added texts and images to our site. So we hope that we look a little bit higher quality than another choice. So that's the reason we're doing that. Videos. None of the successful cases that we looked at did videos. We still recommend most definitely doing videos on here, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, And you can either you can embed a YouTube video, YouTube, Google, the whole relationship there, right? But it adds more rich content. Now the site has good original content in it. It has some images. It's got a video, pretty rich, right? It'll give you some bonus points. Plus the really big thing there is that when you do the video, okay, we recommend it. This one is set up automatically not to autoplay, but we I've always taught that is make sure that when you got your videos, it autoplays. And the reason you want it to autoplay is that when someone clicks on the site and it starts playing, there's a higher probability that they'll stay longer on your site. And when someone clicks your site from the search engines and and Google's counting the bounce rate, someone click on your site and like, bam, 2 seconds later they're gone. And is everyone doing that? Well, then your site, there must be something wrong with your site, even though you got great backlinks and all that kind of stuff, because everyone's getting the heck out of here much faster than any of the other data we're looking at in your particular niche. So guess what? You don't get to earn page 1 because the people are voting. They're going to your site and hopping right off. But if you got a video, they hop on, and even if they're not interested or they got to take off for whatever reason, they will normally stay. It'll keep them there a little bit longer, right? Because it's a video playing. Okay, and it helps with the conversion rates and the call to actions too. Okay, address and phone number on here. All the sites that we studied at, they all had a local community on here. They all have this. Okay, so somewhere on that page, you're going to want the address. Okay, just that simple. Okay, you're going to want some kind of virtual address there, and your local phone number for that particular page. Alrighty, what else? People get all freaked out about this when they start looking at this thing going, what about the silo structures? Silo structures are, once you get your head fully kind of wrapped around it, and I know there's different ways to do, silo structures out there. This is the way we do it, and it works really good for us, and we just keep it simple. So let's say, for example, I go to my locations up here, and it always slows down when I want to record. But anyways, so you'd have all your cities down here, right? We just did 3. These are just examples, and this is just a skeleton site, right? We're specifically not putting content in here. It's just a skeleton site, so you can click through it and kind of see the structure. So go to Sacramento. So guess what my domain's going to be, right? AAA Pest Control Pros / Sacramento, not Sacramento Pest Control. Okay, and so that's my URL, non-spammy. And then what we've got on the site here is, it's just the instructions. It's not the actual words that we've got in here. You're gonna have your image, describing the image. Do not make it spammy, just like I said before. Don't over optimize it. That's the thing in here. Have a local address, and a phone number on this page. Okay. And what some people are doing, and we've made this a option too, is that you might have, you might come here to Sacramento, you might throw up 20 cities, and maybe, I don't know, maybe all 19 out of the 20 you're doing a pay-per-call model, and everything's working out great for you. You love that, but one customer's like, look, guys, I just want to pay you guys a flat fee, and I want to have my own logo and my own personal information on here. Can I just rent this thing out to you for a flat fee? Well, now you can say, yeah, sure, no problem. And that in this Sacramento page itself, you could put their own logo on here, their own name, their own separate video, and it will be completely different than your other lead gen sites that you could be running off of and using for a pay-per-call. But this one particular client is like, look, I've been paying you guys on average, $400 a month give or take 50 bucks or whatever. Can I just flat rate this? It's a lot easier for me. It will make it easier. I'll prepay you $300 a month, period, end of discussion. But I want my company name on here and my phone number on here. Yeah, no problem. You can do that. So you can also switch that out too. Okay, backlinks on here. Okay, silos. That's what I wanted to do. Silos. So the silo structures. We're doing them exactly the way we did it for when we had one domain, one city, one niche. Okay, it's just right down here. The blogs. You just have. We put blogs. You could put news. We noticed everyone else put blogs on their sites. So that's or use the word blog. So that's what we did, right? Seems kind of natural, right? It's like news, blogs. It's a good forum site on here. So any of these posts on here could be pointing to, this one could be pointing to Sacramento, this one to Houston. It just depends on how they're ranking. Okay. And again, you're going to find a tipping point. Usually we've been finding it usually around city number 4 or 5. We throw up city number 6 and forward, and they just seem to just rank with great ease at that point. And if we need to add some more content to it, both some on page on here, we might drip out 1 or 2 blog posts, and those 1 or 2 blog posts will have some keyword or some words, some anchor text that are related to the article, but really try to stay clear of anything kind of related to spam. Again, Google will know from all of this information here, your meta tags, all your meta descriptions, your title and stuff like that, and what's on your page. They're going to know what you're supposed to rank for. They don't need to be hit over the head with it, okay? All you got to do here, so let's say it's Sacramento. I don't know if this one is going to go to Sacramento, but and again, notice these, and these are not spammy posts on here. When should I do attic cleaning? It's not like when should I do San Diego pest control attic cleaning? Okay, it's not that, right? It's just like, okay, this would be a normal kind of title. Okay, and notice up here the URL. This would be our post. This would be a silo. This is just an article that somewhere in here is going to have a link pointing back to whatever city page we want to add some more content to. And support it, and we're not getting spammy with the URL. It's just whatever a natural title would be. That we just keep that in the title. When should I do an attic cleaning? Okay, right? It's non-spammy on here, and about 300 words or more. Make sure it's original. You can use curated content, and we actually found other sites do that too, and that's perfectly natural, right? A lot of times people will. If they've got a good blog, they got good content on their site, it's not all theirs, okay? And Google knows that. They'll they'll get it from someplace else. And say, hey, we got this this article over here from this site, blah blah blah, and here it is. Boom. It's not duplicate content. It's just naturally what people do on their site, but you put a little intro into it. Alrighty. So look. Not spammy type of links. Just want to point back to it. So we'll just go, hey, okay. So check out this page if you want to learn more, or check out this company name. I'm going to go over off-page backlinks in a second because there's some really important things that we discovered that no one else is talking about. So this is pointing back to Sacramento, and that's it. I'm sending a few quality off-page links to Sacramento. And I'm going to, add a few blogs, posts down here, and a couple of them will have links going to my Sacramento. It's just that simple. Okay. Don't overcomplicate it. Okay. When we looked at the backlinks, is this the right one? I'm just going to pull up more. Okay. Root domain stuff. Okay. So for the backlinks, okay. So for the backlinks on here, and this was really interesting. When you're looking, we're looking at anchor text and stuff like this. With the let me scroll down to the conclusions at the bottom. Okay. Meta tags. Other pages. Okay, so here's this with the silo in here. It's just Roto-Rooter, San Diego. It's just these are all just posts. It's all there. They're just posts. We call it a blog. It's a post on here, and it's just one's pointing here to San Diego, one's Roto-Rooter, the other one's here. So very easy. Off-page backlinks. This was what was really interesting with the off-page backlinks, is that the a very large majority of backlinks, and on here they were the majority of backlinks. A lot of them came from actual images. So this was interesting. We found this again and again and again through other niches as well. And I don't hear everybody talking about it, but we definitely do it now. Is they'll have like a logo for their company, like an image logo. I don't think it needs to be an actual logo, but it could be. But any kind of image, and when you can click on an image, right? And you can make it clickable, and if you click on it, it'll take you to the website. About 20% of the backlinks were images that were clickable. Okay, so that's something you may want to do. So if you've got a private blog network on here, and you've got some content on that, you may want to just put an image of the company, of whatever an image would you want to make for the company, and have it clickable, and it just clicks, and that's just their URL. That's really all that it is. But it's natural looking. It's what a lot of these other sites have, and I don't hear anyone else talking about it. And these sites are ranking successfully on page 1 for multiple cities, so probably doesn't hurt to do it. And it sounds like a heck of a lot better plan than going for spam words. Here's the actual keywords that we looked at here, and this was. This is for the Roto-Rooter, right? View website, www.Roto-Rooter, plumber, go to website, Roto-Rooter plumbing and drain, plumbers, Roto-Rooter, sub pump installation, coupon. Wow, how about that? Coupon, faucet repair. You're right. These are real Roto-Rooter again. Visit website, frozen pipes. Here's one in Spanish. Okay, so real natural looking. They rank all over the place. Houston, San Diego, all kinds of major cities. You couldn't find a backlink that said San Diego plumber. Okay, you could not find one going there. All right, same with Houston and whatever. So the other thing that we found out was that that was interesting is that the when you take a look at the backlinks, you know how everyone says the backlinks have got to come from themed sites, right? So same theme. So you should get a plumber link from a plumber type site, and that's the best link ever. Well, it probably is, but guess what? These sites weren't doing that. Some of their best, well, the backlinks that had the highest trust factor and the highest page rank and the oldest age were sites that were had nothing to do with plumbing, had nothing to do with pest control, had nothing to do with law or bail bondsman. Okay, they had to do with completely other topics out there, and I quite frankly think it was not natural. It was paid. So there's a huge lesson in there for you. And again, these sites are ranking in multiple, and they don't have a ton of sites, or a ton of backlinks on here. So Roto-Rooter is a huge, massive site. By the way, they've got a lot of pages on here. But on their actual, when you when you break it down and we go, okay, how many backlinks came from this anchor text distribution? Okay, then a ton of no follow backlinks, no problems there. Okay, so all of them had a couple of educational backlinks, not like one of these eBay or Fiverr gigs where it's like get 300 educational and government backlinks. No, that's not it. Okay, look, they had Roto-Rooter had 1 government and 15 educational, but if we look at Roto-Rooter on here, and you just see how many pages they have. They have 11,000 pages on their site. Now they're ranking in a lot of places. Dearborn Heights, Yonkers, New York, Arlington, blah blah blah. Okay, so a lot of cities, but they have 11,000. Okay, so they have 11,000 pages, and they've got 15 educational and 1 government site. And we found that kind of low number, but they all had a couple of those. So 1 or 2 educational is probably a good idea to do. Okay. Okay, I'm going to switch it over to questions on here. You get access to the PDF and more kind of in-depth detailed training on exactly how to do this. So if you want to kind of geek out and kind of dig really deep into it, you can. What I did want to just kind of before I turn with questions on here is I did want to go into with the off-page backlinks. If you've got a private blog network, which I highly recommend that you have, and you start building, don't think that let's say that you've got that you went out and you got 5 age domains. They all fit the qualification. You didn't spend a whole lot of money on them, maybe a total of $15 to $20 each for them, maybe a GoDaddy auction, something like that. And you're in the plumbing niche. Don't think that all 5 of those sites have to be something related to plumbing. Okay, you might want to just take 2 of those and theme it out and say like a home and garden, home improvement. On that, and then maybe 1 that's on plumbing, and the other 2 or 3 can just be general sites. Okay, and that's perfectly fine, because that's what's happening out there. Okay, when we looked at these sites and we looked at other sites and we said, where are they getting their juice from? I mean, where are they getting these really good juicy links from? Well, they're getting them from high trust sites that have absolutely nothing to do with their site. Okay. All right. I mean, we saw that again and again and again. So don't think that you have to have all of your private blog networks and also don't think for a minute that you can't go someplace like I've always said, going to eBay. And I'll put all this stuff in the members area in more step-by-step details, but this is the same stuff I've always talked about as far as quality of backlinks. I like eBay. I go there. A lot of the backlinks that these came from too, and this is in the PDF report, is they came from blog rolls. Okay, they're blog rolls. People always say, "Oh, blog rolls are spammy. They're bad." Blah blah blah. I mean, if there's not, if they're not pointing out to Viagra sites and gambling sites, I don't think there's anything wrong with them. And we found that these sites again and again, it was like, okay, wow, that's kind of weird. They've got 1,000 backlinks coming from the same domain, just different pages of it. And you follow those back. I was like, oh yeah, they got a blog roll. Yeah, that's why, right? Because the blog roll follows every page on the website. Okay? All these sites are doing it. All right. Okay. Let me turn over questions, and we've surpassed an hour here. I don't want to make these things 2 hours long. People don't want to watch them when they get that long, and they get kind of crazy. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to start running down these really quickly on here. Ron asks on that. Did you find out if you can port over Twilio numbers? We are working on it. We got a huge response for that. We weren't expecting it. I don't see why not. I've asked my programmers to make that top priority. So as soon as we do that, I will announce that. I don't see why we couldn't. I can't raise my hand and guarantee it will happen because I don't know if it's possible, but it just seems like it's possible. Okay. Yes, I will be doing AdWords training. That's becoming a huge part of our growth basis on here. And again, it's the same thing. People asked a couple of years ago, said, "Hey, do you ever do AdWords?" And I was like, I tried it once. I lost my butt on it, and I'll probably try it again later. And we did. We started about 6-8 months ago doing it, and we've perfected it down. And it's what's cool about AdWords, okay, is that once you've got, let's say you've got the right kind of ad for Miami, pest control, whatever. You got the right kind of ad, or something a little bit more generic than pest control, because pest controls in Miami is going to have different pest control issues than they would in other cities. But let's just say pest control. Let's say you've got it figured out for pest control in plumbing. You've got the AdWords figured out for plumbing, so it's profitable. You've got a good amount of clicks, so you're bringing your price down. You're split testing where you're sending them to get the highest conversions. Once you got all that stuff figured out, okay, and it's not region specific, okay, so the same divorce attorneys people are gonna act and respond the same way to those ads that they would in Houston as they would in Idaho, as they would in California and Colorado and stuff. Guess what? That AdWords campaign going to work exactly the same everywhere else. People are going to react the same, and you can grow real fast with that. And it takes a little bit more work, but not much. But guess what? You've just tweaked, and you know exactly what your ad copy is, right? You got the ad copy that works. You got the landing page that works. All that stuff works. It's all about following the numbers and tracking the traffic through. You've spent some money to figure it out in whatever city. Guess what? That same damn ad is going to work. And you can use the exact same one, okay? There is no duplicate content issues here. That exact same one is going to work in another city. And in another one, and in another one, and in another one. Okay? And that's where we got into, okay, now we got this bugger figured out. We can take this to any city we want to, and we can instantly have traffic. So we can say, look, you're going to prepay us right here. That's fine. We're asking for, whatever the minimum is on here. And we're going to guarantee you, okay, we're going to guarantee you that you're going to have traffic that's going to convert in 48 hours. And you're responsible for answering that phone. Okay, you're responsible for answering and converting that phone over. These are going to be targeted people. These are not going to be spammy callers. These are not going to be telemarketers. None of that. These are going to be specific callers. Pay us $1,000. You got nothing to lose on here. We don't offer any guarantee because we're not going to give that money back. Okay, you can if you feel like you got the system down. We don't. We just say we'll move on. In 48 hours. Bam! They got targeted phone calls coming in, and we can turn it off like a faucet and turn it back on. Okay. Anyways, we'll get into that more of that later, but that's why we got into the and you can pre and postpaid and then in the new K2, but that's why we got the prepaid. Alrighty. Yeah, Kevin says on here, I like the prepay option. I've been stiffed a few times. Yeah, it just happens, unfortunately. And if you got someone who's prepaying, pretty hard to stiff you, right? You just turn off the lights because you controlling it on here. Would you suggest using 800 numbers in a big city? No, I wouldn't. Now, got to be honest, I haven't tested it out. I don't know it on here, but these are my initial thoughts. So don't let me deter you from going out and testing this out yourself. But my initial thoughts are that, you know, the particularly Google was ahead of this, and they said they looked at the stats and they're like, oh my God, 70%. I don't know if it's exact numbers. They went, oh my God, 70% of the people who are online are looking for something local, right? So that's when they really started going intensive local, and they haven't looked back since. Local doesn't mean 800. 800 number means some big call center somewhere in South Dakota. And most people who are in the search engines and they're looking for something local, they want a local number. That's my common sense response. I could be totally wrong. I don't have data to back it up, but I'd steer away from the 800 numbers. But you could maybe make it work, you know. Maybe you make it work. Like, here's 800 number, toll free for you. We're located right here. Give an address, something like that, and then we've got the multi-ring. That's usually what if you've got more than one client and the same niche. That's what you're going to do. It's just going to ring to all your clients in that niche. First one that picks up the phone gets it, but you let them all know that, so they don't get a phone call and then it goes dead. Yeah, it's always a replay, Doug, in the members area. Just go right off to the, where are we? Membership home, right? Where are we? Membership home. Off to the left here. Coaching calls right here. 2014, right there. You'll see them. Okay, and there, we had one over the weekend, so if you want us to watch that one, we had one on the 3rd. In the example for AAA Pest Controls, can the logo be changed? Yes, you can change the logo too. So you can do that. You can change the logo for each city, so you can have pest control. You know, you could do a pay-per-call model in one city. In another city, you could do an AdWords, and in another city, you could just flat out rent it out for a flat fee, and you could switch out logos, and you charge an extra fee for that, or say, look, you know, it's $99. You know, it's one of these maybe cities that you don't get a whole lot of phone calls in, so it just makes more sense just to kind of rent it out, or for whatever circumstances, and they say, yeah, well, we can. Yeah, we'd like to rent it out, but we kind of want our logo on there and make it a little bit more personalized. And you say, yeah, no problem, for an extra fee. Or if you pay for, 6 months up front, not only will we give you a discount, but we'll also, put your logo on and your little smiley face on there and stuff. So yes, you can. Yep, always replays, guys. Always replays. Would you put the new page we built as a category? You could, and we saw other businesses out there do that. We don't, and the reason we don't is I chose, and you'll see it right here with this, is that we want to keep the URL as my thinking is that I want my URL as short as possible. Okay, so I'm not going to have, so if you're looking at this one right here, this is locations, right? This is the way a lot of the others did it too. So we're just following the model of other successful sites. So it's not theory, and we're doing it, so it's working. We just do not share our niches anymore. So anyways, so it's not going to be locations / Sacramento. When you click on it and just, whoops, don't start playing on me. Stop. Okay, Houston is the locations is gone, and there's no category like Texas on here. It's just / well, Houston was our homepage, so that was the example there. So, but anyways, that's my point. We keep the URLs. You could put categories, but there's just no reason to have the word category in your URL. It doesn't serve any benefit that I can tell. And it may not hurt either. We just don't do it. But I'll tell you what you don't do. Don't start keyword stuffing it. Category is not a keyword stuff, but just don't start. That's what you definitely don't want to do. If someone does a negative SEO on our sites, won't we lose all the cities and domains instead of just one? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to get into that. I'll comment on it, Ed. There's plenty of expert guru, bloggers out there that they just all they blog about is SEO stuff. I'm not one of those people. I run a pay-per-call business now, a pay-per-click. Now we're doing AdWords, and so we really turn on the traffic. I'm in the business of bringing leads to other companies, and that's what they want on here. And as far as the whole negative SEO thing goes, there are plenty of stuff out there that you can do if that happens. My personal take on it is that I think you can definitely do that. You could go out and you could get you could do some bad stuff. You can actually hire people to do this. There's out there, but at the end of the day, it is so obvious. If you've got a Google webmaster tool, you can submit in there for your backlinks. I forget what it's called. And you can say, hey, look, these 20,000 backlinks I got in the last week on here, these are, someone's attacking me. This is not me. All right. And look, they're doing anchor text like Viagra and gambling sites as anchor text back to mine. I obviously wouldn't do that myself. I'm being attacked on that end of it. Yes, you're going to see an immediate drop in your listings. But from what I've read is, Google will come back and go, oh yeah, someone's doing that, because this is the obvious thing, right? So that somebody could do, and it's pretty easy with automated tools that are out there. But I personally haven't experienced it on that end of it, and if you have, I would go out there and look on the search engines. But you can also submit to Google as well as long as you got a webmaster account. Are you displaying separate phone numbers for each city page? Yes, we are. And the tap to call, yes. The tap to call on here. This all goes for different cities. Okay, so this is just for, let's say, our Houston. If we go to another city, it'll be a different phone number for a different city. So it's like it's separate cities, right? Like it's separate sites. It's like separate pages, but they're not. It's all in one domain. But yeah, that's the way it's set up for you. Okay. Should we still use SEO breakthrough ratios for backlink text? Thomas asked this question. If you do, I would probably, my suggestion would be to do it through some kind of buffer site, like a Web 2.0 site, or even pass it through, or even pass it through another type of buffer site, even a private blog network, an age domain, something like that. I'll just cover it really quick right now, but it hasn't changed. But the majority of the backlinks that we're using are coming from our private blog networks. They're coming from high quality, paid backlinks. I like eBay. I can go out, I can get a permanent PR5, blog roll. I'll use the company name as the anchor text, not the keyword, or just the, or even click here. Okay. And a lot of people, they just can't help themselves. Like, I put in their keyword there. We've analyzed these backlinks and these anchor texts of these many sites rank on page one, and they're just not doing that kind of stuff. So you and I shouldn't either. Okay. Should we try to get the phone number in the meta title and just leave it in the description for now? We're not doing it in the in the description. You can, and that's perfectly natural looking on here, but you don't have to on that end of it. But that's a good question. I think, I've never really, we're just looking at, like, let's see if this is still up here, San Diego. So if you look at our case study here, this one, and I'm set up here anyways. No, they don't have it. It's not on there, or here, sorry. It's not anywhere to be found, right? Because the whole purpose of this, right, the whole purpose of the title, the meta title in here is to get somebody to click, and a phone number is not going to get someone to click. It's not a call to action. So great question. No, don't. That's my best response. How does the change from, Peter asks on here, how does this change from having the exact domain for locality? We've just well, the changes I've already mentioned on here, so I've already answered that. It's hugely beneficial for a lot of different reasons that I've already covered. So Social Monkey, you can use the social backlinks, just slow it the heck down. I mean, really tone it down and make sure that you're not getting keywordy spammy with your backlinks. Okay. If you're in a plumber site, I mean, I wouldn't even use the word plumber. Okay. I'd be using your company name, your URL. I'd be rotating that stuff. Click here, check out this site. I would be rotating those kind of things out for the anchor text, leaky faucet, sub pump, hot water heater, copper pipes. I would be doing stuff like that. All right. And I wouldn't be going too crazy with it, because if you guys use it, it's you can use a spun content on it. Does Google care about your link tracking? Does Google care about your link tracking, or is there some tracking software that is better out there? Jeff Harris, there's a number of them out there. This is probably one of my favorites, but it is expensive. You don't have to have this, but if you got the tools to do it, get it for like a month, you can check it out. But the plans and pricing on here, they also have a free version too. You can check it out, but you normally get what you pay for. True with everything in life. But this is one of my favorite ones. There'd be another SEO person that says, no, I like SEO Majestic. They all give you slightly different data, and they get it from different sources. So, it can get kind of spendy. But if you're like really want to analyze a niche, and you really want to get to know it, and you've kind of, you've done all your preliminary work, and this is kind of the final steps to it, you might want to consider getting something like this for a month or something and just dig in really, really deep. But then again, if everything on the surface for a particular niche looks good to you, you know the niche, maybe you got somebody in the business, maybe you've already got a client in that niche, so you got a good understanding of it. Heck, maybe even enjoy the topic of the niche as an added bonus. How about that? And at the end of the day, you've all the traffic and the revenue all makes sense for leads you could deliver. Then just buckle down and commit to it. Just buckle down, commit. You're going to make a business out of it, and do it. Don't pussyfoot around about it. And then this kind of data doesn't. This kind of intelligence doesn't really matter that much at that point, right? It's not like you're looking at this to go, oh, is this going to be too competitive for me? Hey, just buckle in and go for it, and just take your time, build a real long-lasting business on the end of it. And if you stay committed to it, and you're just slow and steady, tortoise wins the race, not the hare. We've all heard that, right? Okay, so enough of that. I want to get too preachy on here. Can't see your screen. Any else see my screen? No, looks like I've only seen one of those on here, so I'm not seeing. I only see one person on here. SEO Zen still works for created content on that end of it. We've got a system in place. It's more of a manual system, but we've got a system in place where we're going out to foreign sites, the article directories, foreign sites, finding similar topics that were related to. That's what the writers are doing. They're finding the content, they're translating it back to English, they're cleaning it up, running it through Copyscape. That's what we do. Okay. But not everyone's going to have a full-time staff on that. And that's where a tool like SEO Zen would be fine. Seems just one site with a few dozen pages can make a full-time income. One site with a few dozen pages can absolutely, Charles, thank you for bringing that up, can absolutely bring in a full-time income. I should probably mention more, dip that kind of stuff in there. I just figured everyone's who's on this call has been a member for a while and they already see the potential there, but it's always good to remind, heck yes. You've got a pest control site and you've dug down and you've decided you're gonna dig down, you're gonna go for this thing and you're gonna do this in 12 cities. The average pest control, and I'm not in that niche, but the average pest control that I understand, I think they're because they're usually going for yearly contracts, right? They're like, okay, well, you got, we kind of got the pest control taken care of now, but those critters are just going to come back. So, we need to come back every week or once a month or whatever. So, and in fact, we need to come back every month. And here's what we charge for a year or a month. How would you like to pay? And so each one of their contracts, I don't know what it is. Depends on the region and stuff like that. But probably $400 to $600 per client for someone to swing by for 10 minutes and just squirt them with a bunch of pesticides. And so that's what their clients are worth. So you can sell those potential leads for quite a bit. You got regular leads coming in on 12 cities. You're now providing a lot of leads for 12 different businesses in 12 different cities, or multiple businesses in the same niche in different cities. You're providing them a full-time income and keep helping them keep their business afloat. You're providing value. You're going to get it back. That's for sure. Yes, you can use SEO Zen for silos. Yes, on that. This will be all this stuff on here, and will be all posted in the Paper Call Ninja site. Okay, thank you, Justin. Just as I'm reloving this, when you post the PDF, I'll get that up very shortly along with the replay up on the site. Okay, Chris on here asks here, should we start making anchor backlinks from private blog networks more general as opposed to specific? That's what we're doing. When we analyze the backlinks of other sites out there ranking in many cities, it was really hard to find anchor text. I mean, I had it just pulled up here a second. Is this it? Let me get this out of the way. You can see the anchor text on here. Where was it? Anyways, it's here. We listed it out. It's kind of a long report, but here, yeah. So this is for Roto-Rooter. Look, this is basically it. These are the keywords. Okay. This Roto-Rooter sites that's in many cities, I guarantee you it's bringing in multi-millions of dollars of revenue per year. These are the anchor texts they're using. Coupon, faucet repair. I'm not seeing plumbers San Diego. I'm not seeing plumbers Houston. Okay? All right. Plumber. Wow. Roto-Rooter. Website. View website. Okay? These are the keywords. And there's the Spanish on here. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. I'll go back to the questions. So the anchor text from your private blog networks, make them as general as possible. In fact, on some of them, have an image, have a picture of something to do with your niche, and then just put your, you can make all images clickable. Just add a clickable link and have it go back to your website. That's what these guys are doing. It's like 20% of their backlinks are coming from just images. I was like, that's weird. Wow, no one ever talks about that. But it's not just one site. There's a lot of sites doing that because it's kind of apparently it's natural, right? So, anyways. Okay, so Sean asks on here, what is a blog roll versus a site-wide link on that? Sorry, sometimes I assume people know this, and I know others don't. So a blog roll just looks just like this. Let me just see if I can just blog roll example. Maybe Google will just give me the answer. The Google was a blog roll. It's just off to the right or left-hand side of the site. And see if it's this one right here. If you go to eBay and type in blog roll and then put PageRank 5 or PageRank 3, you'll have a whole bunch of people selling blog rolls, and they'll show you the actual sites on there, and they're usually around $5 or $10, and they'll be lifetime. But it's just off the site here. Normally, what it'll say something like right here is here's a list of our proud sponsors off to the right here, something like usually on the other side, and then just have a list of links. Roto-Rooter, blah 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 blah. That's all it is. Good links, by the way. I've always backed them up. I've always had the good links, even when other people trash them. I just wouldn't. I would use a company name. I would use the URL. I wouldn't use a keyword. Don't use like San Diego plumbing. Just stay away from that stuff. Okay. Do you use unique content for every location? Great question, Frank. Sorry I didn't mention that in the very beginning. Yes, we do, and that's for every one of these pages. So if you're in Houston, on here, 500 words, image, alt text describing. On here, we Houston, and then if we go to another one of our locations, whatever it is, totally different content. Okay, just San Diego, Houston, all three of these, even though they're going to be the same niche, same pest control, they all got different content on all the pages, and we were just following what everyone else was doing. Okay, and I don't mean following what every other SEO person is saying. That's not what I mean by that. We're just following what other real sites that are out there that are ranking in multiple cities. That's the way they're doing it. Okay, Roto-Rooter. That's the way they're doing it. Okay, and it is kind of a. You can do it yourself, but I would hire somebody to do it. It gets kind of draining. My writers complain about it all the time. It's like, man, I got to figure out another 500 ways to write for plumber in another city. It's just like, well, that's what we pay you to do. But yes, that's what you got to do. Good question. All righty. Rock and roll here. What do we got going on? PDF, all this information I'll put in the updated training center and the pay-per-call Ninja. Have you tested buying an expired age domain with an established DPAPA? Yes. Okay. That's a great question, by the way, Marco. So another thing, if you've decided you're going to buckle down and you're just going to commit to a niche and you're going to do one of these master domain niches on here, and you don't want to buy a brand new domain, it is totally worth it to go out and spend, some money, on a age domain that's got, good trust factor, fits all the good qualifications of buying an age domain, right? And if it was in your same theme, that's even better. And then just start building the site off of that. You're gonna get way ahead of the game and get bonus points on that. That's for darn sure. So yes, thank you for bringing that up, Mark. It's a great question, and that is an excellent point. I would do it for sure. It's just gonna get you're just gonna it's like you're cheating a little bit, but you're not. You got a head start from everyone else. Everyone else got a brand new domain. you got this age domain within the same theme. It's all got all the good factors to it. So good stuff. Yes. Yep. So can the lead gen plugin send email leads to different cities? Yes, it does. Okay. So this is all in the new system on here on the K2 system. So, I've got this, this same plugin here. Okay. If this is, this is San Diego, then this will only go to my San Diego company or companies. Okay. I can round robin these email leads out. Okay. Now, and I can say, okay, I've got this first email lead for pest control in San Diego goes to pest control company number 1. This second one goes to pest control company number 2. So you can round robin them, and each city goes to different companies. Okay, so yeah, heck, thank you for bringing that up. Sorry I didn't point out. Yes. Okay. Okay. Michael says in here, I said, I've been moving to AdWords since it always works. Yes, that's a good point. And it always works in the sense that you're always going to get traffic, and it doesn't mean that when you start out that you're going to get the right kind of ad and conversion. You got to tweak that stuff out. But once you got it tweaked out and figured out, yeah, it's just faucet on and off. AdSense training, yes, we're going to be doing that. We got some catching up to do. We'll get to it. Cool. Have you made any changes to your exact match domain sites since the conclusion of the master domain? I haven't, because they're already ranking fine, and I just left them alone. Okay. And again, we were looking to be more efficient. We got caught up. It was like, okay, we had all this list of things we got to do. Okay, here's the one we want to do. We wanted to try to let's try one of these master domain sites. We did the research and we did it, and we did it out of ease of management. That was our main purpose. The things that we discovered afterwards was that they rank a lot faster once you hit a certain tipping point. But if you have current existing and exact match domains out there, don't change, just continue with those. There's no reason to take them down, or if they're not ranking on page 1, just make sure your backlinks that you got going to them aren't not the spammy ones. They still, it's not that they don't work. Okay, they do work. It's just the master domain is a lot more efficient. On 800 numbers, on the flip side, most people don't need that because they are dialing free from a cell phone. So why would you need one? Yep. Just your thoughts, Scott. That's another good reason for no 800 numbers. Exactly. I think 800 numbers are kind of outdated myself. So, but Google has taken away the authorship pictures. Yes, they have for some people, and some people they haven't. And we've noticed that as well. Anyways. Is it advisable to go back to the rich snippet 5 stars and attract that? I am currently working with a programmer for the 5 stars on that end of it, and we're testing some things. It's going to take a while to do, so there's no promises. But if it works out, we'll definitely share it with everybody. But we're trying to reverse engineer and figure out how do you get those Google stars to stick. We think we have it figured out, but we've got some more testing to do with it. But until then, just continue with what I'm sharing with you here. It works just fine. Okay, my throat is starting to get to me. Yes. Okay, so all of this stuff on here, so one of the questions here is, can I do a domain like your root domain, my niche domain / Texas, TX for Texas / Houston, and then the next one would be like Texas / Plano, so on and so forth. I think you could. I don't think it hurts anything. you're using just abbreviation for the state, I think that's perfectly fine. I certainly wouldn't spell out Texas. It just makes the root domain too long, but to abbreviate it I think would be fine. Doesn't hurt anything. Okay. Can you comment on someone doing this business who works at a job and needs to start very part-time? Any advice on here? Yeah, it would be just like anybody else. Kind of, we all have to work, whether it's a job or for ourselves. We all have to work, right? And if we're working for somebody else, and we want to make that bridge over to start working for ourselves, that transition is usually equates to a lot of hard work and a lot of extra hours. So can you, if you took and you said, okay, I'm gonna, I've got to work, 40 hours, and then I got driving and commuting, so it's really turning into something like 46 or 50 hours. You're already tired as it is, right? But you sit down and you commit that I'm gonna find 10 hours during the week, and I don't, if that's 2 hours a day Monday through Friday, or 1 hour a day Monday through Friday, and then 2.5 on Saturday and Sunday, God darn it, I'm going to find it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be consistent with it, and I'm going to be focused with it. You're going to make stuff happen. Okay. So, it's just good old bootstrapping, pulling up the shoulders, and just getting down and grinding and going to work. Okay. Chris, when you say 20% of the images are backlinks, are these just paid banner ads on various authority sites and blogs? Yeah, that's what it is. There's sites out there where you've got, like, here's a page of our sponsors on here, and it's just a whole bunch of logos, right? And then you can click on each one and it goes to their site. So, and you could do that in a private blog network, right? So, and you could do that in a Web 2.0 site. You could do that in a lot of areas where you've got control over the content and the images. Okay. Gary on here asks, tried retargeting off of your AdWords hits? Yes, definitely. You've got enough ads going out there. Retargeting works and highly effective. Alrighty. Okay, so Sean asked in here, Chris, I'm not sure quite I understand this, but Sean asked this: can we have content pages which are spun but don't show up to confuse the people, but just for the search engines? We don't use spun content. We've just decided that we're not going to do that on our sites. On that. Not for our backlinking and not for our site. So we kind of keep this stuff down here. So that's about as invisible as we get. We're not going to put, like, blog up here and distract anybody. We put it down in the footer like we always have. We're not showing all of the links, all of our blog links here. We're just told, we just let the WordPress know, hey, in our blog sites down here in our column, we just want 1, 2, 3, 4 of the latest blog post titles to show up here. And that's about as hidden as we get. And we don't use spun content. All right, cool. So I'm going to wrap that up. That's just running on my throat's just about dead right there. So if you have any other dire questions that just absolutely have to get answered, and we did answer them now, send it to the support desk on that end of it. I will get this up there. I will render this after this call, get up in the members area out there, and remember to earn more, serve first, and we will see you on the next coaching call. Take care. Bye-bye.